Yeah. Now, I would ask a very stupid question because I haven't read the books and I don't know what this means. But after the witch trial, or during the witch trial, you spot the polio vaccine shot on the woman, and of course that just tips off viewers. Wow, there is another time traveler here. Is that, and then it's dropped, and I just love the fact that that was so suspensefully done. Is that ever resolved? In other words, does that come back again? Not necessarily that woman, because you're going to change locations now. You're off to France, but does that whole notion get picked up again in the story somewhere?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. I did. All right. Good. No, I don't know. I'm an idiot.
No,
I don't know.
I'm sticking with a book per season at the moment. So I've finished the first 2 books. My sister, who has read all of them, she informs me that yes, it does. That kind of notion comes back a few times. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Are there any things about any things you just want to really tell the fans that you don't think they know about Claire, or about the season, or about the books?
Oh wow. I mean, I feel like they are. I mean, they know the books and probably the show better than I do, because they're so intense, and it's wonderful. I mean, they watch it over and over and over. I mean, I'm just really excited for them to see season 2. I mean, that's what we've started. You know, we're in the middle of filming right now, and it's so strange because it's such a different show in one way, but yet, you know, it's very familiar. You have, you know, a lot of the same players, but it just takes on a whole new world. And it's so exciting, and what Terry Dressback and John Gary Steele has done is just incredible. So yeah, I don't know, I'm excited.
Well, it's also what you've done here. Now, come on, I think everybody who knows the show knows this. That you carry this part in such a way that there's a glow to you. There's this magnetic. You just beam this role out as if from an inner glow. And what is your take on this character? When you, for example, when she looks at Blackjack and she sees a face she hates intermixed with the face that she loves of Frank, and you have to deal with that as an actress. How do you approach that? What do you do? Those are the great complicated moments of the show.
Well, you know, a lot of it is, I mean, the great thing is that, you know, Tobias and I have such a great working relationship, and you know, unfortunately sometimes because of time, scenes are cut, and there has been an awful lot of great Frank and Claire scenes that have been cut from production, and there was a flashback that would have been in the episode in Brockton, where Claire and Blackjack have that big sort of scene where there's just the 2 of them in that room, and there was a flashback to Frank sitting, and Claire wakes up in the middle of the night, and Frank would have been sitting at a window, and he's kind of reliving the horrors of the war and kind of feeling the guilt of having sent men off to their death. Now, we never got to film that scene, but you know, obviously when you get the scripts, you do a lot of preparation on those things, and again, it's when I went into that room with Tobias as Blackjack and we're sitting doing that, I mean, that the knowledge of that scene is very much with me. And so when she sees and when she hears Blackjack talking about his sort of complicated feelings about what he's done in the horrors of war, and you know, to be able to recall that scene with Frank, and you know, it's constantly that play of, is the man that I love still, is there traces of him in this man, and can I reach him because of that? And Claire is just, you know, she will constantly look for any spark of goodness in someone, and she has such a capacity for empathy and such a capacity for wanting to, you know, help and understand that, you know, I think that's why her and Blackjack have such a great complicated relationship, because she can't just see him as well. I mean, I think things probably change after 15 and 16, but up until that point, you know, I think she still felt that there was a trace of humanity there that she could possibly reach.
As I was just mentioning, that this isn't just any show. This is a show that has a fanatical fan base. It has been, you know, critically received beautifully. It's getting, you know, 80-90% at the critics' aggregation scores of the TV critics. So it has the respect of the toughest group of opinion makers out there, and it has this absolute fanatical fan base from viewers. At what point did you know that this show had taken off? I mean, was it a fan coming up to you at a shopping mall, or was it a phone call from a family member that's saying, you know what, this, or was it your agent calling, or was it the network going, these numbers are astounding? At what moment did you know this is a hit?
I'm not sure. I mean, when we got the numbers in for the first weekend and they were really good, I mean, I think everyone was really excited about that. And I had a great moment where we were filming that scene with Claire and Dougal, you know, in where he does the marriage proposal. So we're in these dank, dark caves, and all the crew were in, and I had a really lovely moment where I got to sort of shout to everybody, you know, this is what we did, and you know, even though this might be a horrible day, we're you know, it's all been worth it. But you know, things like, you know, when we were back and we had the Paley Fest, I mean, that was incredible. I mean, just seeing that amount of people and having, you know, being invited to something like that at this point in our show, I mean, that then you kind of are like, wow, this is, you know, this is actually something really fantastic, because we have such an incredible fan base, and they're so active and they're so, you know, vocal. But you know, not that you would ever take that for granted for a second, but you kind of, you know, you're used to their kind of passion at a certain point, and then when you see that it's sort of stepping a little bit outside of that, you're like, oh wow, you know, this is fantastic. So
final question, anything you can tease about season 2? You're shooting that now, aren't you?
Shooting it now, yeah. We've I mean, it's amazing. It's really, it's as I was saying earlier, it feels, you know, it feels like being back with all the same people, and it feels like we've come home again, but at the same point it's so different. I mean, I you know, I don't know what I can tease, but it's just get ready, because it's a visual feast, number one. Every day everyone is just like, wow, like this is our set, this is insane. And you know, I turn up in these costumes that everyone's like, whoa. But also, you know, I think what I'm most excited about is it's a very complicated journey that Claire and Jamie are on now. You know, what happened at the end of season 1, it really, the repercussions of that, and you know, they go deep, and it's a difficult journey for both of them to get past that, and to kind of find a new normal, I guess, in a sense. And you know, that, and I love that the writers have kind of really stayed with that story and let it continue, and we see the two of them figuring out a way to heal properly.
Well, I can't wait. I'm an actual fan, and there aren't many shows I can say that about. So congratulations, Caitriona.
Thank you so much. It's been so lovely to talk to you.
Same here. Bye-bye.
Bye.